Did you know that 85% of your success in life comes from how well you communicate with others? That's right. Your ability to connect, speak, and listen shapes your relationships, career, and even your happiness. Yet, most people don't realize the true power of a great conversation. In fact, studies show that only 10% of people are truly skilled at navigating everyday conversations. The rest? They struggle, often without even knowing it. But here's the good news: you can master the art of conversation, today. It's not about being the loudest or most charming person in the room. It's about using the right strategies to create deep, meaningful connections that leave a lasting impact. And trust me, it's easier than you think. In this guide, you'll learn the secrets to becoming a captivating conversationalist. We'll dive into simple techniques like how to be more authentic, why pauses can make you more powerful, and how to leave a lasting impression every time you speak. Whether you're speaking to a small group or having a one-on-one chat, these strategies will set you apart from the crowd. So, if you want to become the kind of person everyone loves to talk to, keep reading. What you'll discover will transform the way you speak and connect with others. Let's get started. Chapter 1: Unleash your voice. The power of authenticity. When it comes to communication, authenticity is key. People connect with speakers who are genuine. Studies show that 93% of communication is non-verbal, and how you come across emotionally is just as important as the words you speak. If your words don't align with your emotions, it can create a disconnect. So, start by embracing your true self. Authentic speakers don't try to be someone else. They focus on being the best version of themselves. This approach builds trust quickly. Think of the most memorable speakers you've encountered. Chances are, their genuine energy stood out. Harvard Business Review confirms that authenticity is one of the most powerful tools in influencing people. A great way to start being more authentic is to share personal stories. When you tell a story, you open a window to who you truly are. As author and speaker Brené Brown puts it, authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. Each time you choose authenticity, your voice becomes more powerful. Also, don't worry about perfection. Studies show that imperfections make you more relatable. In fact, imperfections make us human, and when we embrace them, we create deeper connections. Remember, being authentic doesn't mean being flawless, it means being real. Chapter 2: Mastering the pause. Why silence speaks louder. Many of us are afraid of silence in conversations. We feel the need to fill every gap with words, but pauses are actually powerful tools. When used correctly, silence can command attention and convey confidence. A study from the University of Chicago found that people who use silence effectively are perceived as more powerful in social settings. The key is knowing when to pause. Effective communicators use pauses to emphasize a point, allowing the message to sink in. If you're explaining something important, pause before or after the statement. This small tactic can make your words resonate deeply. Consider how politicians, leaders, and public speakers use silence. When Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, his pauses were as impactful as his words. Pausing not only gives your audience time to reflect, but it also shows you're comfortable with the message you're delivering. Another benefit of pausing is that it lets you gather your thoughts. It's easy to get carried away and ramble, but taking a pause ensures you stay focused. When you pause, you also give the other person a chance to respond, creating a balanced exchange. Chapter 3: Engage like a storyteller. Crafting conversations with a narrative. People remember stories far more than facts or statistics. Psychologist Jerome Bruner found that we're 22 times more likely to remember a story than a fact alone. That's why turning your conversations into stories makes them far more impactful. Start by framing your points in the form of a narrative. Instead of saying, "I worked at this company for 5 years," try, "I spent 5 years at a company where I faced many challenges and learned key lessons that shaped my career." This makes the conversation more engaging and memorable. Storytelling doesn't have to be complex. Even a simple anecdote about your day can make a conversation more engaging. You can start with a problem, introduce the struggle, and then finish with a solution or outcome. This is the formula that keeps people interested and invested in what you're saying. Don't forget to include emotions in your stories. Whether it's humor, excitement, or frustration, emotions create a bond between you and your audience. When people can relate to the feelings you're describing, the connection deepens. Additionally, remember that the best stories are often about people. Use examples from your life or others' experiences that show vulnerability or triumph. This creates a narrative that people not only listen to but also care about. Using stories also encourages others to open up and share their own experiences. It creates a dynamic, two-way conversation, making it more enjoyable for both sides. By weaving a narrative, you add context, depth, and relatability to your conversations. And when you do this consistently, you'll be known for having engaging, memorable discussions that people look forward to. Don't forget to subscribe. In the next chapters, you'll discover even more powerful tips to take your conversation skills to the next level. Stay tuned. Chapter 4: The Art of Listening. How to speak by hearing. The best speakers aren't just great talkers, they're also amazing listeners. In fact, research from the Carnegie Institute of Technology shows that 85% of your success in life comes from your ability to communicate with others, and listening plays a huge part in that. Active listening doesn't mean just hearing words, it means understanding the meaning behind them. One of the easiest ways to improve your listening is by focusing on the speaker without distractions. Put away your phone, turn off the TV, and give him your full attention. This small act makes the person you're talking to feel valued. Studies show that when you give someone your full attention, they're more likely to open up and trust you. Listening also involves asking questions. Rather than just waiting for your turn to speak, ask questions that show you're interested in the other person's perspective. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who ask thoughtful questions are seen as more engaged and likable. Don't interrupt, let the speaker finish their thoughts. Interrupting not only disrupts the flow but also shows a lack of respect for their words. Good listeners allow pauses, then respond thoughtfully. This shows that you're genuinely absorbing what the other person has to say. When you listen actively, it also helps you find the right moments to contribute meaningfully. You'll be able to tie in relevant ideas and points that make the conversation richer. And, most importantly, you build a rapport that makes others want to keep talking to you. Remember, listening isn't passive, it's an active skill that requires effort. The more you practice it, the more it will improve your ability to connect with others. Chapter 5: Mind the Energy. How to read and match vibes. Every conversation has its own energy, whether it's fast-paced, relaxed, or serious. Great speakers know how to read and match the energy in the room. According to a study by psychologist Albert Mehrabian, 55% of communication is non-verbal, meaning the way we carry ourselves, the tone, gestures, and energy, speaks louder than words. If you're in a conversation with someone who's excited and animated, match their energy. This shows you're engaged and share their enthusiasm. On the other hand, if you're talking to someone who's more subdued or stressed, tone down your energy to meet them where they are. Doing this makes the conversation feel more natural and harmonious. A big part of reading energy is paying attention to body language. Crossed arms or a lack of eye contact can indicate someone is closed off. If you want to build rapport, mirror their body language subtly. This often leads to a feeling of connection, making them more open to engaging with you. But don't just match the energy, sometimes, you can elevate it. If you sense the conversation is lagging, inject some positivity or excitement. People appreciate someone who can bring energy to a conversation without overdoing it. One useful technique is to observe the other person's pace. If they're speaking slowly, match their rhythm. If they're speaking quickly, pick up the pace slightly to mirror them. This creates a smoother flow and helps maintain balance. Also, be mindful of how your own energy affects the conversation. If you're feeling tired or distracted, it can be hard to match someone else's energy. In these cases, try to stay present and engaged. Your attitude can influence the direction of the conversation, so aim to bring positive and focused energy whenever possible. Chapter 6: Turn conversations into connections. The secret of leaving an impact. Have you ever had a conversation that stuck with you long after it ended? That's the power of leaving a lasting impression. The best speakers don't just talk, they create memorable moments that leave people thinking about them long after the conversation is over. One of the most effective ways to make a lasting impression is by showing genuine interest in others. Ask questions about their experiences and thoughts, and show empathy. As author Dale Carnegie famously said, a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound in any language. When you make someone feel special by truly listening to them, it sets you apart from others. Another great way to leave an impact is to share something valuable. This doesn't mean giving advice in every conversation, but offering insight, a helpful tip, or a piece of knowledge that's relevant to the person you're speaking to. Giving more than you take is a strategy that builds strong, lasting connections. At the end of your conversation, aim to leave with a clear and thoughtful takeaway. It could be a simple phrase like, "I really enjoyed talking with you," or an open-ended invitation like, "Let's grab coffee sometime." These small gestures ensure the conversation doesn't feel like a one-time interaction, but the beginning of a relationship. A key element in leaving a lasting impression is to ensure that the other person feels heard and respected. Even a short conversation can create a powerful bond if you make the effort to connect on a deeper level. According to research by the University of Michigan, people are more likely to remember you positively if they feel you genuinely care about them. Don't forget the importance of follow-up. If you've discussed something important, send a quick message or share a helpful resource later. It shows you are listening and that you value the conversation, turning a fleeting interaction into a meaningful connection. Remember, great speakers aren't just about talking, they're about creating experiences that others remember. When you leave people feeling valued and respected, they'll be more likely to seek you out for future conversations. Thanks for reading. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe and keep improving your communication skills with more amazing content.